Ladies and gentlemen, get ready because what you're about to hear will leave you speechless. Yes, Mr. Loyalty has just disclosed a scandal that is so twisted and disgusting that it makes every hospital drama you've ever witnessed seem like child's play. Picture this. Hidden ICU cameras, secret meetings, doctors exchanging glances behind closed doors, like they're plotting in a bad soap opera. And everything revolves around one woman, Remy Ma. Was she actually fighting for her life? Or was something much more sinister going on? Was her condition natural or artificial? And most importantly, who was pulling the strings? You think you know the story, but you don't, honey, because Papoose got his hands on the tapes. The internet is exploding, the streets are humming, and the truth is more repulsive than anyone could have ever imagined. Stay locked in because we're going to blow the lid off this ticking time bomb. And believe me when I say that it's a cover-up so deep that you'd need a shovel and a prayer to uncover it. About to blow. The story starts in the chilly, fluorescent-lit hallways of a hospital where whispers were louder than heartbeats. Papoose, the devoted husband of a hip-hop legend who literally built his brand on sticking by his woman through thick and thin, had been at Remy Ma's funeral. The official story was that Remy Ma had experienced a sudden, life-threatening complication, something unexpected, something unexplainable. Doctors shook their heads, nurses whispered, and yet no one gave Papoose any real answers. At first, he bought it because he didn't understand why he was in the hospital. The brochure claimed that the hospital was a top-tier, award-winning, state-of-the-art facility dedicated to providing care, but soon the contradictions began to pile up. One nurse would say that Remy's vitals were stable, and another would warn him to be prepared for the worst. One doctor told him that she was conscious, while another insisted that she hadn't woken up for days. Then, the most bizarre aspect of all the security footage, or rather the absence of it, was revealed by hospital security, who stated that the ICU cameras had broken down around the time Remy's condition deteriorated. Convenient, yes, but Papoose isn't just any bereaved husband. He's a man who has dedicated his life to a game where betrayal is a language and trust is currency. Speaking fluently, he did what no one anticipated. He placed his own covert cameras near the family. By sources, we mean people who had no business leaking this information, but thank God they did. Papoose placed covert recording devices throughout Remy's intensive care unit room, and what he discovered were incredibly eerie doctors conversing and paperwork was being adjusted while no one was looking, and one nurse would call her Nurse X. This was even captured on tape saying, "If he finds out, it's over for us." What was happening? Papoose realized that this wasn't just bad luck, it was something much more sinister. Now let's not forget that this isn't, for the first time, Remy Ma's life has been surrounded by shady business. To refresh your memory, her 2007 conviction made headlines when she was sentenced to 8 years in prison for shooting a friend over unpaid money. Hard time, hard lessons. Ever since, Ray has been fighting to maintain her reputation. But drama has a humorous way of the secret ICU tapes began circulating in underground circles before they ever saw the light. But this time the danger came from inside the very place meant to save her, rather than from the streets. It's like glitter stuck to some people like glitter on a carpet. You clean it up, move on, and boom, another scandal clings to you. A few courageous insiders, we're talking about nurses, could not bear the shame, and orderlies who knew too much began to anonymously leak bits of information. What the world witnessed was horrifying. One video shows a senior doctor laughing, yes, laughing after adjusting a monitor. Another shows two nurses fighting over who should remove the file. Most damning of all, there is a grainy video of someone murmuring, "She wasn't supposed to wake up yet, excuse me?" But that's only the tip of the iceberg. The rabbit hole goes much deeper. Papoose, who was devastated but incensed, decided he couldn't just sit back and began gathering evidence, constructing a case, and making discreet calls. In the meantime, outside those sterile hospital walls, whispers turned into roars, fan pages exploded, conspiracy theories ran wild, and people reached out to lawyers, investigative reporters, and even private investigators because Remy would fight for himself if no one else did. Was this a case of medical negligence or something even darker? And as Papoose began to piece things together, another bombshell dropped. It was so large that it rocked the world, and that's precisely where we pick up next. The bombshell, oh, you're not ready for this one. was the unsettling, creeping thought that Remy Ma was targeted, if so by whom and why. Papoose's secret tapes captured more than just dubious conversations. They also captured transactions. Yes, cold hard money was slipped under the table, and one clip is now going viral on every platform. To anonymous sources close to the investigation, by close we mean probably someone's cousin's girlfriend's hairstylist who couldn't keep her mouth shut. A man in scrubs is seen casually giving a woman wearing a medical badge a big envelope in an underground gossip forum. There is no conversation or receipts, just a silent, dirty exchange that shouts reward louder than a 3 a.m. People quickly began to inquire about who was paying for what when there was a fire alarm. Most significantly, was Remy Ma's life a part of some heinous deal? Wild theories quickly flooded the internet. One popular Twitter thread, which incidentally received 1 million views in less than 6 hours, boldly asserted that Ray's hospitalization wasn't just a tragic accident, but rather a planned hit job. Yes, you read correctly. One purported insider wrote anonymously, "Y'all think it's a coincidence big names wanted her quiet, too much info, too many secrets? This wasn't about sickness, this was about silencing." This suggests that someone wanted Remy Ma out of the picture, and that the hospital was the ideal cover-up. Think the timing is suspicious. Remy was reportedly working on a tell-all memoir just before her unexpected hospitalization. According to Publishing Rumors, the memoir was filled with names, shady contracts, and scandals that could have rocked the industry. Coincidence or cover-up, you tell me? In the meantime, fans rallied strongly. Yes, there were protesters outside the hospital demanding transparency after March for Justice Remy went viral. Some of them held homemade signs that read, "Free Ray's Truth" and "Hospitals aren't hitmen and celebrities." The celebrities couldn't keep quiet, though, and Cardi B went live on Instagram, tapping her fingernails angrily against her phone screen while saying, "Yo, this Remy situation don't sit right with me. No, if you guys did something to her, we'll..." Discover that Joe posted a black screen with 3 words in white: "No loyalty, no mercy." Even Nicki Minaj, yes, Ray's longtime rival, posted a mysterious tweet that sent everyone into a tailspin. Karma has 2 sides. Watch, meanwhile, investigative journalists, that is, every influential person pursuing a YouTuber with a ring light and a theory, started releasing exposés every 5 minutes, each one more bizarre than the last. The secret: cabal that ordered Remy's silence. How did your fans analyze it to death? Was Nicki celebrating warning or hinting at something she knew? Hospitals are controlled by billion-dollar labels, proving that Remy Ma was going to expose the industry. But wait, things get wilder because the hospital in question chose to finally speak out in the most dull, corporate-sounding press, just as the public outcry hit fever pitch, with fans, celebrities, and random keyboard warriors all screaming for blood. We take these allegations very seriously and are conducting an internal review. Oh, I see. The first thing you want to do when you're caught on hidden cameras exchanging envelopes and laughing about someone dying is to examine yourself. Give me a break. Of course, no one purchased. Instead, the leaked footage continued to spread more quickly than they could stop it, and the more people saw it, the more repulsive it appeared. One clip purported to show a doctor in gloves extracting what appeared to be medical records and burning them in a back parking lot at a hospital with operational security cameras in 2025. As for Papoose, he wasn't sitting quietly either. According to sources, he hired a top-tier legal team, forensic specialists, and even a crisis PR firm. He wasn't just planning to sue the hospital. Oh no, he was planning to burn it to the ground, metaphorically, of course. Just as hospital board members began to perspire in their expensive suits, a real whistleblower, an intensive care unit nurse whose identity is currently being kept secret, went public in an exclusive interview with Underground Dispatch, the most dubious-sounding news organization you've ever heard of, never heard of, and stated that we were ordered to postpone her treatment by a higher authority. I am unable to elaborate at this time, but I have the emails and I am not alone in having multiple documented proofs, if that is true, and nobody has been able to refute it thus far. The hospital's issues then escalated from a public relations crisis to a federal criminal case. The government opened a preliminary inquiry. State senators started tweeting their concerns. Talk shows hired medical ethics experts more quickly than you could say negligence. And as word spread, guess who else started asking questions? The internet remained glued to the screen throughout it all. Every leak, every rumor, every headline, because everyone was curious about the extent of the conspiracy and, more terrifyingly, whether Remy Ma was the only victim. Part 3 will examine the fallout, resignations, investigations, and the startling cascade of events that nobody anticipated, and I promise it will make your blood boil. First came the traditional PR spin. We're committed to transparency and healing. Translation. We're going to lie and hope you're too distracted to notice, but the damage was already done within 48 hours. This was the hospital's leadership's desperate attempt to patch the holes in their sinking ship as the leaks exploded across the internet. The typical corporate gibberish, personal growth, new chances, and the always amusing need to spend more time with family were the reasons given by 3 senior hospital administrators for their inexplicable resignation. They might as well have shouted, "We got caught and we're running for our lives." In the meantime, federal investigators conducted a formal raid on the hospital's administrative offices, confiscating patient files, hard drives, and financial records. One agent was even seen on camera using a shredder. Yes, a shredder, which means that someone was actually attempting to destroy evidence while the feds were there. The preliminary audit revealed millions of unaccounted consulting fees that were mysteriously paid out over the past year, many to unnamed contractors. This was unbelievable. What began as a scandal regarding Remy Ma's condition suddenly turned into a full-blown corruption. In a startling press conference, a U.S. lawyer stated, "This is no longer about one patient. This is about systemic abuse cover-ups and a complete betrayal of public trust." Boom. Let's talk about Papoose, because if anyone thought he was going to sit quietly while the investigation exposed decades of shady dealings, Papoose filed a civil lawsuit so large that it had attorneys nationwide scurrying for popcorn. He wasn't only suing for damages, he was suing for justice. The lawsuit named the hospital, 5 individual doctors, 3 senior administrators, and, in a bizarre turn of events, a large health insurance company. My client will not rest until every responsible party is held accountable. We intend to expose every filthy dollar and every dirty hand that touched this conspiracy, stated Papoose's lawyer, a sharp-tongued legend who is rumored to have sponsored certain decisions. As if that weren't hot enough, Papoose released one last secret tape to the public. That showed a senior physician in the middle of a dispute with another employee saying, "I don't care what happens to her. I care about keeping my check coming." That was it, ladies and gentlemen. The internet completely collapsed. CNN and the Shade Room were unable to produce headlines quickly enough. The ICU corruption scandal has blown wide open. Remy Ma's husband has caught doctors red-handed, hidden tapes have sparked a federal investigation, and hospital horror betrayal behind the bedside has sparked thousands of online petitions demanding Snoop. Dog posted, "Fight back, family, don't let these devils win." Taji P. Henson tweeted, "Suing is not enough. We need real money." Criminal charges, protests outside the hospital became louder and more irate. Someone even started a GoFundMe called "Send These Crooks to Jail" and the cherry on top. Several celebrities offered to fund Papoose's legal war chest. Consequences. When our institutions fail us, we must stand together and demand change. Michelle Obama remarked during a neighborhood event in a rare, unscripted moment. When the former First Lady weighs in, you know it's genuine. Behind the scenes, things got suddenly, congressional hearings were being scheduled, senators were calling for comprehensive healthcare reforms, medical licensing boards were launching, surprise investigations, and several whistleblowers from other hospitals began coming forward, suggesting that this wasn't an isolated case, but rather was a part of a much larger national issue. Audits all over the nation, all thanks to Papoose. The man didn't just support his wife, he exposed a secret world of corruption that no one dared discuss. And what about Remy Ma? Sources say she's stabilizing gradually, but her family has kept quiet. But one cousin told Underground Dispatch anonymously, "Remy's a fighter. She's getting stronger. She is prepared to talk when the time is appropriate and is aware of what is taking place." Consider that Remy Ma, the woman they attempted to silence, returns with a revelation so explosive that it may destroy entire institutions. Pay close attention, because if and when she speaks, everything we've discovered will become so. Looks like a teaser trailer so far, but now it's your turn to talk. Do you think Remy Ma's case is just the beginning? Are hospitals truly safe these days, or have they simply gotten better at hiding the truth? Let us know in the comments, because this is a much larger conversation than just one story. If you're as shocked and outraged as we, hit the like button to let the world know you're paying attention. Subscribe to Gossip Spill Vibe right now, because believe me, the next expose will be even more bizarre. Turn on your notifications so you don't miss any more leaks, scandals, or shocking revelations. We don't just spill tea, we set the whole kettle in motion, burning. Keep an eye out, keep alert, and stay noisy, as quiet only serves to safeguard the guilty.